Yes, good afternoon. Welcome to Men, Family, and Education Under Fire. And I'm your host, Dr. Horace Williams. And we are on the Go Radio, powering the voice of community and change. So nice to be back with you again this afternoon. My lovely host today is Yo. And Yo, we have a hot topic this morning to discuss.
Ooh, Doc, all I know is you always set the studio on fire. I have to get it together because the stuff you bring up, people be talking about for weeks
Absolutely.
after.
And see, I want to.
I'm scared.
I want my listeners to know this. You know, our show is all about transferring wisdom, knowledge, by way of mentoring, by way of teaching and positive communications. So I always like to put this disclaimer out before we start our show. We are not placing blame. We are taking responsibility. It's not to place blame. So we're taking responsibility. And our show tonight, we're going to take some responsibility. And I'm loving this show right now. So listeners, I want you again to bring the men that you love in your life close to the radio, or keep them near.
That's good.
To our YouTube, our Facebook page, because this topic right now is going to be one that you guys are going to be discussing once we're off the air. So, Yo, if I may, this is where we're going tonight.
I'm scared to ask. And it's Father's Day weekend, too. Ain't no telling what you're going to talk about.
Father's Day, well, you know I can't let this go by without talking about this. First of all, happy Father's Day. Father's Day is on Sunday. I believe it's Sunday the 18th.
That's right. That's right.
And our topic, I would be remiss if I couldn't talk about this topic. How do we honor the men in our lives? How do we honor the men in our lives? And we're going to go down the page, and I'm going to tell you this, and I want you to think about this as we get into the topic. Why do we honor the men in our lives? Good. And the opposite side, why haven't we honored the men in our lives? And then we're going to answer the question, or we're going to pose to you, why should we honor the men in our lives? These men, and it's just not Father's Day. First of all, happy Father's Day. I got to give it up for the fathers because we gave it up for the mothers.
Happy Father's Day to you,
thank
too.
You so much.
You are
I
awesome, Dad.
And
not just to your kids, but all the students whose lives you have fed into and covered and impacted. You know, remember we were talking not too long ago about just how you had everything in your office for all the students and you never judged them, but you always met them where they were to try to meet their needs with honor and integrity. And bless you for that.
Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate you as well because we work together and, you know, we can share these stories. And I think one day we should tell our listeners about them stories.
We're going to have to.
And I always called you my angel because you came through for so many young folks and families.
We in the trenches together.
We in the trenches. But God has ordained this, so we're going to move forward.
Yes.
But today we're going to talk about how do we honor the men in our lives. And I know it's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. But I want to pose this question. And we're going to take into consideration that you are listening attentively. And those men could be, do we just honor them on Father's Day? Do we just honor them on their birthdays? Or do we just honor them on Christmas? Do we honor them just only on Easter? So we have to look at that. So these men in our lives, let's put some a reference in the frame around there. These men could be our husbands, the fathers, our brothers, our sons, our uncles, our stepfathers, our stepbrothers, our pastors, our deacons, our ministers. How do we honor these men in our lives? These are very important relationships. I want you to think about what I just said. How do we honor them? So let's first of all look at how do we honor fathers? I'm going to be basic. We honor them with love. Fathers love love. And as a father, I'm going to talk to this right now. This is my time of the year.
I know that's right.
I get giddy about this time of the year.
Reap it in. Reap it in.
Oh, come on. I get giddy because I know
you earned it. That's right.
As the chief of my tribe, and you hear me talk about the tribe, I've tried to do such a good job with my villagers, and they show me love on this day. They show me love every day, but especially on Father's Day. they show me respect. They leave me in the mindset of they have high character.
That's right.
They trust me.
They appreciate you.
They appreciate me.
That's right.
You know, and I appreciate them. But today, because it's the show is dedicated to how do you honor the men in your lives, and we know we're looking at Father's Day, we're going to start just talking about the men. Don't want to be selfish, but today's show we're going to dedicate to just talking about
That's all
and
right.
talking to the men.
Yeah.
Because, again, this is men, family, and education under fire.
Yes.
So now, the men in our family, let's talk about how do we honor them. I want you to think about this as you listen to us have this discussion and ask yourself and ask your family. Do you honor them by respecting their leadership? That's a tough one. I've heard some brothers tell me, oh, you know what, I can't do this because someone won't let me be a man. And I was like, whoa, hold on, stop. How somebody gonna let you be a man? God gave you those sets of skills. He gave you that architecture. How can somebody stop you from doing something that God gave you? So first thing I would say, we're not placing blame. We're taking responsibility. No one can let you be a man. First of all, I'm gonna drop the pencil on that.
That's it.
No one can let you be a man.
You
are already a man. God has ordained you in manhood. Now you have to learn to walk in those footsteps.
Yes.
And it's a process. Matter of fact, I'm teaching my sons
Yes.
that. We laugh about this all the time. When they were 14 and 15, I told them that, growing up is a process, being an adult is a process, being a man. Now we laugh about that. When we get to those points where I call teachable moments,
That's
they
right.
look at me and say, Dad,
That's
you said
right.
this thing was a process. But let's talk about the manhood. So do you honor him by respecting his leadership in the house? Do you respect his ability to supply the family with what they need? Do you honor him as the protector? See, a man's job is not only to be a provider,
Will
but he
you
also
let him protect?
He has to protect. That's what we do.
Because sometimes we're so empowered, a man can't even do what he's born to do.
And sometimes I'm going to tell you, men, you have to be very careful with this. That doesn't mean that you are the know-it-all, you are the last word, but that means you are set up to protect your tribe.
That's good. That's good.
And you have to walk in that. God has already things that he will shield you from when you walk in that. But again, we want to talk about that because Father's Day is here. Father's Day is Sunday. A lot of people fire up and they go buy that tie, them pair of socks, and they say, here you are, Dad. But I let my tribe know, I need that love from you. What does fathers need? How can you honor it? With hugs, a lot of hugs.
Obedience.
I enjoy those hugs. Obedience.
I'm sorry, obedience.
Yeah, obedience. And the ability to listen.
That's right.
And the ability to trust. Now, I'm not saying I'm 100%. I'm going to make all the correct moves. I'm going to do all the things correctly. But I'm going to try. Give me some credit for trying.
That's right.
So you have to be obedient. I like hugs. I like kisses. And we like surprises. Fathers.
How about money?
And we like that money. Let me say that.
I just want to clarify for those who say, yo, I ain't got time to go out and go shopping. I think cheddar still work.
Cheddar is better.
Okay, still work. It still
you
work.
hear that? Everybody, cheddar is better. And we're going to do that. But we know that fathers is a unique relationship. And see, when I ask that question, why do we honor fathers? We honor fathers for the simple reasons that, number one, they birth us. They help in that process.
That's right.
Now, men are responsible for the male and female children. And I don't want to get too biological, but for those of you who don't know or might know, because the man has the X and the Y chromosome. People like, oh, Doc, stop, Doc. Here you go.
I want to hear that.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. So if you get the Y to go with the lady's X, who knows what that's going to make? I'll let you think about that. What does two X's make? We'll come back and get to that. But the father's relationship to his tribal members, his wife, his family, his relatives is a very important one, and also in our community. Do we understand what our men are going through? Not making excuses. Are we willing to support them? Men need support. Sometimes, we think that, okay, he's a man, stop your crying. Men supposed to cry.
Good.
Real
That's
men
good.
cry,
That's
ladies and
good.
gentlemen. I'm going to say it again.
That's good.
We have been taught not to, for an example, who have heard this before? Sit down, be quiet, stop your crying.
What you crying for?
Yeah, what you crying for? Like you don't have feelings and emotion. Men cry. It's okay to cry. But how are you responding to his tears? Do you hear him? Are you willing to support him in his time of need? It's some brothers out there, and I'm telling you, they smiling like I'm getting all of that. Yes, sir. Well, come on, Doc. You preaching to the choir right now. And there's some out there saying, man, I've been looking for that for a while. Please preach. Preach, Doc, because they need to hear you. Well, I'm talking to you all as well.
Yeah.
But fathers, we have a big responsibility. It ain't about the big piece of chicken only. See, we done talked about that big, as Chris Rock said, the big piece of chicken. That's all the dads look forward to. No. This is deeper than the biggest piece
Or
of
the
chicken.
seat. Don't sit in my seat.
Yeah, don't sit in my seat. Right in front of the TV. Don't grab my remote. Put that remote down. I just got this TV, boy. But you know what? We want to say that there's so many things that we could do to honor the men in our lives, and we just have to become conscious of it. And this is what our show is about. We are transferring knowledge and wisdom by way of positive communication, mentoring, and teaching.
That's
so
good.
When you listen to this, I want you to understand that this is just not pie in the sky. This is real. As a married individual, I've been in the game a long time. Matter of fact,
right.
I'm coming up on my 30th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
30 years in the game, yo. 30 years in this game. I wouldn't change a thing.
Wow.
So I've learned some stuff. I've raised 4 kids. You could do it, fathers. You got to
can do
hang in
it.
there. But fathers, what we have to do too, we have to learn to step up. We have a place in our village. We have to be mindful the type of images and the type of track record that we lead. Now, I know that it's not going to be easy. Didn't say it was going to be easy. But today, because we're honoring the men in our lives,
That's right.
I want to lift up fathers. I want to support you, even in those times where things haven't went your way. Even in those situations where you thought that you were doing the best that you could do, and you thought you was doing 100, and everybody around you thought you was doing 10. Oh, that's a bad place
Because
to be in.
sometimes everybody won't say thank you, but you have to stay the course because you know it's the right thing
You
to do.
got to stay the course.
And so what do you say to fathers who people don't appreciate and they don't say thank you and they're doing their very best even though their best may feel like it's not enough?
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people are going to be, as we're celebrating fathers and we're talking about the reasons to do it, a lot of men, particularly fathers, will say, what, I wish I could do more. Because this is a hard economy. It's a hard time.
Absolutely.
Kids need more than what you can ever prepare for. But there's so many things that fathers contribute that has nothing to do with money.
Has nothing to do with money. And I'm glad that you brought that up, yo, because fathers, we could share our love.
That's good.
Our time. And we can also just continue to do the best we can with what we have to work with. And my goal is to let the fathers know today, you bring up a good point. It's not always about money. You have to check yourself to see what your value is.
That's good.
And the value is not always money. And if you get in a situation where you start to value everything that you do with money, then you might have to reevaluate what you're doing. But fathers, your relationship with your wife, your relationship with your children.
And how they treat them in
and
front
how
of the
you
kids.
treat them in front of the kids, how you treat your parents, the words that you use. Are they uplifting words or are they words meant to destroy and break down? But fathers, your role is so important. And I want our listeners to know that the fathers that's out there say thank you. Bring them to the radio right now and say thank you for the little things that you have done, that you're doing, and what God will allow you to do in the future. Because it has a very, very important place in our community.
Wow.
Fathers are very important in our community. Dads, I want to say thank you. We have to show fathers some support. Now, I'm not saying that if you're out there just being a clown, that's big nose. I mean, the red nose with the big shoes. Now, we know we got some of them out there too.
We know.
But families, I'm going to say, loved ones, be supportive. Approach it in a very supportive way. We want to say fathers have feelings. Men do have feelings, no matter how tough or how gangster some of us try to be.
Wow.
But we have to move forward.
And I know you had mentioned earlier, what is the reason why people don't honor fathers? Why? Why wouldn't you? What's the reason why you don't? And I think that's when I was sharing with you, just from what I've seen from some people not admitting it for the way they act, is a lot of times people will have good husbands or good fathers to their children, and they don't honor them because they had a bad relationship with their dad.
Absolutely. And, unfortunately, what that's doing is those individuals transfer that negativism to this new situation.
Yep.
They won't allow, and we're going to talk about this in future shows called forgiveness. They don't understand that you have to be able to forgive. Now, let's talk about this. We're going to go back because you bring up another. I love it, yo. You bring up another good point. So in some cases, they don't honor the fathers or show them respect because they're disappointed with them. Some fathers, they have
That's a good point. Some people got dads like that.
They got dads like that. And their tribe are disappointed in them. They feel that they've been let down.
That's right.
We got some fathers that are incarcerated. And those individuals who have those incarcerated fathers, they may not like to talk to their friends about the fathers because they feel embarrassed.
They may not know what to say because it's Father's Day, and you got a lot of young people whose dads are locked up, and this is a horrible time for them because they remember they don't have their dad at home.
They don't have their dad.
But it has to be somebody in their life that's worth celebrating.
Absolutely. And that's why I said we're going to look at this list of men, and we're going to talk about this that we talked about. How do we celebrate these men? And that's from stepdads. That's from uncles. That's from granddads. That's from pastors,
teachers,
ministers,
neighbors.
Right. That's from deacons. And we could have a lot of surrogate fathers out there, but we first must understand that we can respect a man.
That's
but
good.
Talk about what you just said a little more. We feel embarrassed about the man because he may not be the man that you want him to be. But he's the man that God made him to be. See, we get that confused sometimes.
We want to pick and choose.
And then we also tend...
It ain't have it your way because you don't...
To point the finger.
I'm just
right.
saying.
It's not going to always be your way.
You want it.
But to the fathers out there, and I'm going to give them some kudos because I know I'm preaching to the choir. You have been doing this. You have been on your game. You've been on your grind. You have been a participant in your tribe's life and your kids' lives. You've been bringing home the bacon. You've been paying the bills. You being supportive. And sometimes it seems like things still don't go your way. Fathers, I'm here to tell you, I've been through that. Always some sunshine on the other side of the mountain. Keep climbing.
And what do you say to men
Keep doing
who
it.
specifically may not have a lot of people around them that acknowledge what they're doing because everybody loses their drive and their push? What do you say to them to keep them going even though it doesn't seem like it's making a difference? Because I know I was on a previous show, I think it was last week, and we were talking about the things I just remember. Like, I just want a lot of dads to know, I think your show is awesome. Again, Men, Family, and Education Under Fire, that Dr. Williams, you're the one that's bringing to the forefront a lot of the things that men don't talk about, like you said about crying. I know for a fact, because I'm best friends with guys, that sometimes when no one's looking, they're crying because they wish they had more. There's never enough money. It seems like it never
Correct.
comes fast enough. The car breaks down when something else needs to be fixed.
It's always
And
something
you
there
have
waiting.
to
It's
always
somewhere
look like
waiting.
you got it together,
Yes.
you know, because everybody's looking to you. And your dad, your husband,
Absolutely.
you know, what do you say to them when they don't feel like they can get to the next day because everything is falling apart in front of them?
Yes. What I say, first of all, you have to set up your faith system. We are out here on Faith Fathers. And this is what I want to say to you, those dads in that situation. Never stop trying. Keep a positive attitude. Let no one be a bigger critic of you than yourself. Always strive for the best. Keep a great mental picture attitude. Things are not always going to go your way. That's the way it's set up. But you can't give up. You are the head and not the tail.
That's good.
Again, you are the head and not the tail.
Even when it feels like it.
Even when you feels like
Yeah.
you the tail. And then sometimes it may not seem that you're doing the right thing because the right thing may not be the most popular thing to say or do. But you have to still show leadership. Very important word, fathers out there. When you think that you have done all you could do and you can't do no more, dig down and do some more. Dig down and go deep with them. Let them know that there's some substance here. Because the way the world is set up, you're not going to win all the time. The sun doesn't shine every day. You're going to have some rain in your life. So get your umbrellas ready. Get your umbrellas ready. So when it rains, what you do, you get the umbrella, you go on outside, and you stay dry as long as you can.
Because their kids are watching how they weather the storm.
Absolutely. Your kids are watching. And not only that, but they depend on you. You have to show a strong front. And then I'm going to hit you with this one. You just have to be open and honest with your tribe members, the people that love you. If they love you, if you commit to something and you can't do it, you have to be honest. I can't do it. Say that, just like that.
And ask for help.
And
because
ask for
you have
help.
a whole
Oh,
team.
come on.
You have a whole team, and it's like if you want
Yes.
to win, every player brings a part to the
Yes.
table in order to get you to a finish line to win.
Absolutely. It's a team sport. And see, dads, when you ask for help, it's right, it's going to be there for you. And that's why when we talk about that tribe piece, you have to be a willing and participant chief because everyone is going to have a turn to help the
That's right.
tribe.
That's right.
And that's how you have to look at it. Everyone will have a chance to help the tribe. So at this time, I'm going to take a little break, and I'm going to let my listeners know if you're just joining us, this is Men, Family, and Education Under Fire. And I'm your host, Dr. Horace Williams. And you are listening to On the Go Radio, powering the voice of community and change. And this is my host, Miss Yo. And we are talking about today, how do we honor the men in our lives? And I know we're getting a little deep, but this is what we need to do moving forward.
But when you also say, you say, how do we honor? I think the first thing is acknowledging they exist.
Acknowledging they
Because
exist.
I've been around some very strong women who were strong but yet smart enough to acknowledge the men in their children's lives. Because you can't say you want somebody to be a father, they step up to the plate and do it, but you don't acknowledge them in any of the decisions that's being made. I can't think of a worse way to rob a dad of his position is to take his voice. You know, my mom
Absolutely.
used to say, go ask your daddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Woo, I
Oh,
hated to
absolutely.
hear it. Because
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, I think she
Ooh,
came
boy.
up with that just to delay the answer, but
Absolutely.
it was honoring my father's
Your mother
voice.
was
And
honoring-
sometimes even when my
Absolutely.
dad was still at work, she would say, well, wait till your daddy get home. And then I remember this like it was
Absolutely.
yesterday. And then
Oh,
when I
absolutely.
had to have a immediate answer, she says, I'm going to let you do it, but if your daddy say no,
Absolutely.
y'all going to come on back home.
Absolutely. Yo, I do it right now in my house. My wife, she's listening, and I'm hoping she is. Sweetheart,
I
how
know
you
Paige
doing?
is.
Paige is
She's
listening
already
too.
texted us, yeah.
My wife, this is our program. This is
Yeah.
our process. You have to go to your dad, and she's probably smiling right now. She'll tell, no, you got to go talk to your father. You know, and I'm going to be fair and impartial. depending on the situation, and every situation is different. But that is honoring his voice.
Yeah, it starts with that.
And we have to, and it's okay to do that. Women, it's okay to do that. It's okay to honor the man's voice.
I remember sometimes when maybe my dad didn't have all the information because he might have been at work and he was given like a response based on what he knew. They never did the debate in front of us. They always took it behind closed doors. Like they'll say, y'all give us a minute. Y'all go have a seat or go outside and play. We'll let you know in a minute. And then they would have a conversation.
Absolutely.
So there was no breakdown of power in front of us.
Absolutely. And it was, and see, with that stopped the kids from being divisive.
That's right. That's where I was going
no
with
division.
That. That's right.
No division.
Pitting the parents against each other. Then they gone and y'all ain't talking.
Absolutely. Then y'all ain't talking. And so the man's role, the woman still is very much integrated into that decision-making process. But the man's role as the head of the household and the chief of the tribe is very important. He needs that support. And it's okay. And to acknowledge him. Oh, what a big form of not only love and respect and flattery, just to acknowledge what he does. And you say, well, he shouldn't get credit, and I've said this before, for doing things he should already be doing. Well, why do you get credit for that? But we appreciate the time that we have to talk about this, but it's okay. And I want to say, as we draw near close, we have to stay positive. Men, you have to do the best you can. And, God's going to give you some tools to use. Use all the tools that you have available.
All the tools.
All the tools.
And can you talk for a little bit, Doc, because you talk about it all the time about there's times when a man back may be against the wall, but that's when you also have to recognize that you may not have all the answers, but you got to at least know how to go to the Lord and ask him for some help, because who else you going to go to? Because sometimes your fellas ain't got no answers because they lost too.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to seek wise counsel.
Because if the chief is lost, we all lost.
You have to seek wise counsel. And chiefs, you're going to need counsel. I still have a confidant that I speak to. And don't be afraid to send an email. I didn't say email.
I know that's right.
I said an email. Knee, mail. Get down on them knees and ask God for discernment. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to tell you, things will happen. And sometimes it's not happening at a speed that you want. Have faith in it. But I'm going to tell you, it's been a pleasure talking with you today. This is a deep topic. We can go deeper.
Yes.
But happy Father's Day out there. We love you. Dads, we love what you do. Thank you so much. And if you are separated from the man in your life, go and tell them today that you love them.
Yes.
Ask for forgiveness. Forgive them. Be willing to forgive them and enjoy your Father's Day.
And love the dad that you got.
And love the dad
right
that
where
you
he
got.
is, and ask God to give him the tools you need if he doesn't come with it. But you got to love the dad that you got.
Love him.
It's a lot of good men around you all. Take advantage of it and tell them thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, we appreciate your listenership. Don't change that dial, touch that TV, that radio, because we're coming at you live on the Go Radio.
Power in the voice of community and change.
Have a great evening, everybody.